Cowboy fans, YouTubers? Is that VA Dallas Cowboy fan coming back at you? Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, and commenting down below. I make these videos for me and you, and they're a little therapeutic. A lot has happened since our loss to the Los Angeles Rams. Of course, you already know Leighton Vander Esch is going on injured reserve. He should be back in 6 to 8 weeks. That is the early prognosis that we have. Blake Jarwin is on season-ending injured reserve. And now the word from Mike McCarthy in his press conference today is that Cam Erving will be out about 4 to 6 weeks. Or, hold on, check my notes here real quick. 4 to 6 weeks. We brought in a couple guys to really try to fill out the roster. We did activate Brandon Carr to the active roster, and we cut Kirk. I think that's his name. DB Luther Kirk. And in those places on the practice squad, we have two DBs, Stephen Parker and Rashard Robinson. Now, Rashard Robinson is probably the only real name recognition a little bit, because he was the only one out of the 4 new people we picked up that was actually drafted. Everybody else is an undrafted free agent. He is a DB. He's 6'2", 177. He was drafted in the 4th round of the 2016 draft, which produced Zeke Elliott and Dak Prescott and company. He was drafted by the 49ers of all teams. And his first start was actually against us that year in 2016 when we beat the 49ers 24-17. In that game, he had 5 tackles and 3 pass deflections. So he's got some experience. He's been playing on and off for injured players over the years between the 49ers and the Jets. So he has some experience out there. Unfortunately, he has also the most baggage too. From his days at LSU, where he was suspended from the team and did some stupid stuff to not even finish with LSU, finish his college career. He went to Broward College or something like that in Florida to train for the draft. After he was drafted, he had some incidents in 2016 for marijuana-laced candies he was arrested for. 2018, I think he had a couple DUIs he's been arrested for, and he's been suspended by the league multiple times for the substance abuse policy. And he's a project, but apparently since 2018 he hasn't had any real issues, so thankfully that's all behind him. As far as the other guy, it is Stephen Parker. He is 6'1", 210 pounds. He went to Oklahoma. He's an undrafted free agent in 2018. He has spent time with the Rams, the Dolphins, and the Vikings. And if you look at Law Nation's YouTube channel, he does a film breakdown of him. You should check it out. Okay, this guy in front of me is just on his phone and bobbing and weaving all over the place. Okay, let me get from around you. So that's 2 DBs now placed on the practice squad. For the people who keep talking about Earl Thomas, Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones are still with the belief of their own players and the next man up mentality. I know a lot of you guys hate that. A lot of you guys are saying Earl Thomas will be the cure to all our ills right now, even though he's not. But that's my opinion. I don't think even with his future Hall of Fame resume and everybody saying his leadership is valued and how he's going to save the team by himself, it's just not. And the Cowboys see that he's not going to be the cure-all to everything. They're just not going to waste their time with him. They probably got word back from Baltimore and Seattle that it's just not worth it. That's why they keep getting all these other guys. I mean, they're not that much more or less money to bring in than Earl, but I think they see a better upside because they are younger and they can get into your system without the preconceived stuff in their heads, about things like Earl would do, missing meetings and being, a conduct detriment to his team. Apparently, they're not that kind of way right now. So, the lesser of two evils, just keep getting guys that you can mold instead of getting somebody who's already been molded and is determined to just do what he wants to do. I think that's the mentality right now. If there is a huge drop-off in safety play, then that might be the only time they'll pull the trigger. But it doesn't look like that's happening. Other names they've thrown out there is guys like Snacks Harrison. That's not happened. Delaney Walker, that's not happening. I think Earl Thomas and Delaney Walker are the two names that most people have suggested, and those are like the first names off the board of the Cowboys list. So I don't know what to tell you. They're just not looking at those guys, and they're not interested. The other two guys we brought in, offensive tackle Alex Light. He is 6'5", 309, out of Richmond. He was an undrafted free agent in 2018 as well for the Packers and the Cardinals, and now we've scooped him up. I hope they can mold him into something. He's been on a couple practice squads, so I'm not sure if he's just going to be there for depth in case, or he's the best of what they can get right now. That's more than likely the case. Scouting is 365, and if that's what they think is best, okay. I mean, I'm sad that Mitch Hyatt and Wyatt Miller got cut because they were hurt in training camp. Excuse me. Because those two have been in our system for quite some time, so they knew a little more than Alex Light would. But you got to go with what you go. Unfortunately, with Cam Erving's injury, he's not going to get a shot to start this week. So it looks like we're stuck with Terrence Steele for a while and Brandon Knight. Hopefully, they can bring Alex up to speed because there's no depth behind Tyron Smith and the other two. The other person we brought in was linebacker Rashad Smith, 6'1", 220, out of Florida Atlantic. He was an undrafted free agent this year by the Bears. And we do need linebacker help. If you didn't know, apparently Sean Lee had his surgery for a hernia done last week. I think they said he had the surgery last week, and he's going to be out 6 to 8 as well. So the 3-week IR isn't really going to help a lot of these guys that we put on it because their expected returns are going to be a lot longer than the short-term IR is going to be. Yeah, he's going to be out 6 weeks. So, I mean, you hope that the short-term IR this year was going to be a benefit for a lot of players. Unfortunately, it's starting to look like it's almost pointless, especially with the guys we put on it, because the timetables to return are pretty much going to put them out until October anyway. So you're looking at Van Der Esch, Sean Lee, Cam Erving, and Randy Gregory getting back around October, mid-October at best. That's a long time. And with the injuries starting to mount up, who knows what we'll look like by the time we get there, because after this Sunday's game at home against Atlanta, we got to travel to Seattle. And even though Seattle won't have the home crowd, won't matter because they're still that dang good. A lot of people are going to say that Atlanta this week looked pretty darn good. And it's one thing to be good between the 20s, but scoring is a whole nother ball of wax. As usual, they went 0-4 on fourth downs. Julio Jones can't catch a touchdown to save his life. I mean, they put up yardage. Don't get me wrong, they definitely threw all over the place. But they had to throw all over the place because their ground games, even with Todd Gurley, only produced 55 yards, I think, combined. That's not good. That your ground game isn't really producing and that you have to throw all that much. But this is Atlanta. They're used to throwing all that much. Unfortunately, all the throwing is still not scoring. That is the problem. So we'll just have to see. Everybody's going to say, well, how do we defend Calvin Ridley, Julio Jones, and this rookie Cage that came out that just lit it up last week as well? I'm like, well, if you're throwing the ball 50-something times in a game, yeah, somebody's going to catch it and put up monster yardage. Yards after the catch is also good, but you're still not scoring. That is the problem. You have to score with all this monster yardage. If you're not doing that, then what's the point? You know? You could put up 600 yards of passing through the air all freaking day, but if you only got 14 points to show for it when the other team got 32 or something like that, you're kind of wondering what the hell's going on. But that's my opinion. I just hope that we see a little something different this Sunday. That's all. Just a little something different. Maybe they just needed that first game to get it out of the way. Sorry again. Now we see what kind of players we got. We see what kind of mentality they have. Now they've been able to hit other people. They've got those kinks out. And now we can get on a roll. A stat that a lot of people, well, not a lot of people brought up was actually the special teams. That's a part of our game that we haven't touched on. I don't think a lot of people have touched on that on any YouTuber. Is that, okay, we saw our defense was a little bleh, but they always seem to be that way against the Rams. Our offense was bleh. And that's not changed in 10 years, so that's nothing different. But our special teams play, that's a part of our game that we talked about that we needed to improve on, and it did, aside from the missed field goal, and I'll touch on that. But we didn't lose the starting field position. That part of our game was actually very close. We started an average of our 27-yard line, and they started on the 29. So that part of the game has actually definitely been improved upon, because you remember last year, our average starting position was like the 10. And the opponent's starting position was the 30, 35, something like that. We've done a whole lot better in that. And the CD Lamb return, his one return, was, I think, 20 yards, and that was actually better than anything we produced all last season. That's crazy. But special teams have showed that they can step up on the field position game. Chris Jones looked a lot better. Our field goal unit, like I said, I was going to bring that up. I don't mind the fact that he missed a 53-yarder because he never practiced a 53-yarder. In training camp, they never let him really kick past 50 because, as McCarthy said, he always wanted to score points. He never really wanted to go for 3, at least not that far. That's why he never really took those kind of kicks in training camp. So all the people who are condemning Mike McCarthy for going for it, we said we wanted Jason Garrett to go for it all these times. We get a coach to finally do it, and now we're mad that he went for it. So you can't please this fan base. You're mad because the old one didn't do it. You're mad because this one did do it. And then when you trot out a field goal kicker who never even tried at that distance because we were supposed to be a lot better at scoring, you can't get mad that he missed it. Now that second kick that got wobbly that made it in, that was a little more trickier in my book. Like, oh my God, how did he almost miss that? You know, the 53-yarder I can give him for. But it's great film. They can always go back, look, change stuff up. Jalen Smith hopefully can look a lot better because now he knows exactly where his position is going to be for the next probably 2 months, at least a month and a half. He will be playing that middle linebacker more than likely, a lot more than he thought he would this year. So he's definitely going to be cleaned up, I hope. You're not going to have DeMarcus Lawrence jumping off sides before the first snap of the game just to try and hit somebody. And our offense should hopefully look a little cleaner. If CeeDee Lamb just figure out to run his route a little farther to the sticks and then cut back, he'll be all right. Because we wouldn't have been mad if he had converted that first down. He just came up a little short on his route, and he was tackled before he could make that move to the chains. He can clean that up. We'll be fine. We haven't heard anything about tight ends coming in, so they're going to run with Dalton Schultz, Blake Bell, and Sean McKeon. And I guess they have full trust in those tight ends. I hope Dalton learns that he's the starter now. So he can't be making those mental mistakes and dropping those passes anymore. I mean, it was Dak's pass was off. I'll admit it. It was off. But Dalton had his hands on it. He's got to pull that in. If the ball is in your hands, there should be no reason for you not to pull it in. To my new subscriber, Eastside Harold. I called you out. Eastside Harold. No, I am not a police officer, so you don't have to be scared. I'm not going to hunt you down or nothing. Yes, I did hear about Mark Holmes and the bench Dak Prescott start Andy Dalton petition. That's online and 400 signatures or something. I didn't really look it up. Congrats, y'all can start a petition and get people to sign it. That's great. Nobody's going to listen to it. It's not like Andy Dalton was going to trot in and make that game any better. So, that's all I got for y'all today. If any blockbuster news happens, we'll get it to you. If it's some craziness that might happen today, other than, let's see, around the league, you had Richard Sherman. He's now on IR. Apparently a leg injury. They won't disclose exactly what. So he's going to have that. You have Mark Holmes said that Odell Beckham is rumored to be on the trade block. I don't know what to say. I don't think that he would really be on the trade block unless he's that much of a cancer. And then what would you give up for him? Because he's starting to see that, you know, the grass wasn't always greener anywhere he goes. He's not the superstar he was. He's only been really recognized as the best player or the best wide receiver, arguably, for one season. And that was just because of the one-handed catch. And then we've seen countless better catches since him. But, let's see, DeAndre Hopkins, he went off for Arizona. I'm sure you Houston Texans fans, Eastside, are a little pissed that y'all lost him, because he definitely would have opened up your passing game for you and your running game. Without him, y'all going to have to figure something out. And that's all I got for y'all today. If y'all made it this far into the video, it's a miracle. So thank you again for liking, sharing, subscribing, and watching this video. If anything else comes up, we'll get it to you. I hope you have a good hump day. Wednesday. Halfway through, people. We're almost there. Almost another week in the books. Y'all take care out there. Stay safe. If you're a Dallas Cowboy fan, out.